Hey folks, it's Sven Jungbeck again, and today I want to show you a beautiful chord melody to the song Body and Soul, and also I want to talk a bit about mixing licks and melodies with the chords and somehow bring it into the chord melody, because that's a question often asked by students and it's a vast topic. So first of all, I will start and play the chord melody, and then I will go right into explain all the details, and even talk about the differences, harmonical differences between the Django Reinhardt version, which is probably pretty important for this channel because it's basically about hot jazz and gypsy jazz, and also why it's not so different from the real book version. So let's get right into it. So that's this wonderful chord melody of this wonderful tune. And first of all, let me say, whenever I create a chord melody like that, what I'm trying to do is find a very easy way to put the melody into the chords. And I'm not thinking so much into block chords, which was typical for the time of Joe Pass, but I try to make it sound a bit gypsy swing by using the pick instead of the fingers, and sometimes maybe play a little fill-in melody and a little vibrato, something like that. So the song starts with E flat minor. So let me say, in the original version, we do a very quick change to B flat 7. So it's like, my heart is sad and lonely. In the Django version, we skip this change, playing only like, my heart is sad and lonely. For you I cry or sigh, for you dear only, and so on. So in the chord melody, I choose the quick change to make it sound a bit more interesting. So I start with that kind of chord, and this is easier if you play it with the index finger in the bar chord. Let me mention first, of course, that these lessons are not for absolute beginners. So if you are able to follow, good, and if not, feel free to ask me for a lesson or something. Unfortunately, I'm not offering something like sheets or something because I'm more a touring musician. But if you like to get more into it, for more details, just write it in the comments or check out the info box below. There's my email and my webpage and all the links you need to contact me directly. So I start with this E flat minor 7 chord, which E flat, and then this little bar chord, and the pinky should be playing the D flat, but I'm playing this now with my middle finger and ring finger in order to be able to play the melody here. So it's this, in this chord. Then I'm playing a D dim, and this is more a substitute for B flat dominant 7 flat 9, with the D here, the A flat, with the C flat in that case, and the F. And then I'm playing again an E flat minor chord, but this time I'm playing all the 6 strings, playing it like this. My middle finger is pushing down 2 strings at one time. If you can't do that, the A string will do, but it's a typical gypsy swing technique, gypsy jazz technique, covering these 2 strings. Then the index finger is playing the minor third, while the ring finger is playing all of the rest. It's playing the root again, it's playing also the 9, and the 7, the 9, and the 5th. And then I'm doing a little chromatical movement in the bass from B flat to A flat 7. And A flat 7 I'm playing only this little big band chord with all these 3 strings like root, A string muted, 7th and 3rd. And then maybe you can play C half diminished, which is a substitution for A flat dominant 7/9. So, and then you have the next chord, which is D flat major. This is one option you can play the melody. So I'm playing like till the A flat, and then I'm playing the pinky note, which is the B string, moving this forward to the 7th fret, and then playing G flat major 7. The second version in which this melody is often played is so, and here you have different options. You can also play the major chord again, and then use the pinky on the E string, and then go to a G major 7 like this, G flat major 7 like this, or play the G6 like this, with leaving out the B string for the bar chord. This one or then I'm doing a little gypsy jazz slur to play an F minor 7 chord with the pinky playing the 7th on top. Then the middle finger is switching strings to the E string, and then I'm playing a dim chord in the 5th fret, but I'm playing it with a bar chord in order to reach out for the 8th fret with the pinky. You could also do like this, but I'm doing this in that case. Then we go to E flat minor 7 again, but we need the pinky again for the 7 on the E string, and then just picking down the strings, releasing the pinky, E string, B string, and D string. Like this. And then we play A flat dominant 7. And I'm playing this little melody like, you could also play it like this, or like this, or there's various options to somehow, fret an A flat dominant 7 chord and having this little movement from the 13 to the 7 and back again. And then I'm playing A diminished, which is the jungle version. I want to say something to that later, but first let's face the chord melody. And then the end phrase starts with B flat minor. Then I'm playing an E flat dominant 7, E flat dominant 7/9, E flat minor 11 with this, and then again A flat 13, fretting it as a bar chord this time, pinky, 6th fret, and then E flat 6. Then I'm playing this little movement. So this is more or less the scale. Back to B flat dominant 7. Then again. Then I'm doing a lick. So this is, it's more or less the arpeggio. I'm playing root, 3rd, 5th, and then 7, hammer on to the root, and then sweeping it. And then going back with this grace note. And then I'm doing on the A string. Then I'm playing a D flat 6/9 chord like this. This is very nice because it emphasizes the gypsy jazz pathos or feel with whom I'm playing it. So again I'm doing this gypsy slur, and and then I'm playing again G flat major or G flat 6, and then I'm playing G flat 6 9. This is like with my middle finger on the D string, 4th fret, first finger on the 3rd fret, G string, and this, and then again to the F minor. This is kind of the same that we had in part A before. And then I'm playing the original changes with E flat minor 7 with C in the bass, and again picking down the arpeggio with B string and D string. And then I'm doing C half diminished, but it's C minor 11 here, to half diminished. So I'm playing here C and B flat and E flat, and the index is on F, switching to G flat and back to F. And then I'm playing the F like only 3 strings, adding a vibrato to that. And the ending is the same. And then I'm playing on the E string, G, A, G sharp, and I'm playing an A sus that I'm releasing to an A dominant 7 flat 9 by moving my middle finger and index finger backwards. So you got like the root, the 7, and then the 9 and the sus, moving to the flat 9 and to the 3rd for part B. And I'm adding, now I'm playing this really power chord, G. And this is like an E sus chord with E, B, E7 sus, E, B, D, and A. Then I'm moving it to the 9th fret, performing a bar chord and having these 2 fingers like A and D on top. It's kind of a D chord. It's not really an F sharp minor chord, which is written down in the real book version. It's more a D chord. Then I'm using the F sharp minor, but with the same voicing that we started with, but instead of using this fingering, I'm using now the easier one, where the index is holding down these 3 strings, and I'm fretting the 9th fret, A string and G string with ring finger and pinky. And then we go to G minor 9, G minor 9 in the 10th fret, C13, then 1 note, 8th fret B string, and then I'm moving downwards. Again, F sharp minor 7, B minor 7 to the G string, E minor 7, and A dominant 7 to the G string, releasing it to D, try it. And then I'm doing, like, I'm not sure what I played there, I'm gonna play it again. So I'm doing the scale chromatically from F sharp again to the A, and then I'm playing D minor with F in the bass, and then G dominant 7/9 as a bar chord, C major 7 up here in the 5th fret, and then again this dim chord, this time in the 7th chord, the 7th fret, and then D minor 7 with the 7 on top. This is B dim or G sharp dim in the 4th fret if you're looking at the index, in the 7th fret if you look at it in terms from the pinky. I always look at it in terms from the pinky, because this is, to my idea, this is the root, and it's easier for me to move the dim chord around, concentrating on the high E string. Then I'm playing this augmented G chord, which is like F, B, E flat, G, thumb in the bass. And then I'm playing a 2-note voicing that's beautiful with a strong vibrato. This is something that I consider as typical Joshua Stephan-like. Also Django-like, actually. So it's from the 8th fret, 7th fret, and then the augmented chord from the B flat. That leads us directly to the last A, but the last A is exactly like the A's before. This is actually how I do the chord melody. Now I want to talk some details about the harmonic structure of the tune, and that might be interesting for you. Because when we leave out the first quick change, that doesn't do no harm, because the melody is not demanding the change. My heart is sad and lonely. You can go like, my heart is sad and lonely. This is also fine. Then we have the same movement. For you I sigh. Then F minor, for you dear. And this F minor chord actually is not more than just another D flat major. When we play jazz music, old-time jazz music, especially old-time jazz music, most of the music actually, the third degree of the scale is only the tonic from the third. And it's very rarely played as an own minor chord in an own function. Most of the time you see the third degree in a tune, it's just a substitution for the tonic chord. And I wonder if you ever noticed, but actually sometimes they do not play these F minor chord if you're in the key of D flat, then F minor is the third degree. And most of the time people even don't play this voicing. It looks very similar, but they play the index finger on the G string, leave out the ring finger, the D string is muted in that case, and then you got this triad. This is a D flat triad with the third with F in the bass. See the difference? F minor 7. And this is a typical turnaround thing, like something like that, or you can play that in rhythm changes too. So the third is never really an own degree, it's more or less a substitution for the tonic chord. Then we go to the E, and this is again just a little grace chord leading to the 2. So we got the 2-5 now, but instead of the 2-5 is extended by we play this. No, why haven't you seen it? And this is like E flat minor in the real book version. Then we put D flat in the bass to C half diminished and F7 or F7 flat 9. And Django is playing Why haven't you seen it? He's playing a whole bar of E flat minor 7 without moving the bass here, without this bass move. Why haven't you? And then playing A flat 13 or A flat 9. And if you take a closer look, A flat 9 is the same chord than C half diminished, because C half diminished with A flat 9 with A flat in the bass makes a perfect A flat 9 chord. And when you play this typical additional note on the C half diminished, that's very jazzy. It's the 13 of A flat, so it's exactly what's happening in the Django version. And then he's playing A dim, an A dim chord, and A diminished due to the same principle. If you've seen it from F, it makes the F an F dominant 7, right, flat 9. So this is the same, then it's just voiced in a different way. So it's more or less the same version. And the last difference that is pretty much essential in my view is if you take the end phrase. In the real book phrase it says like B flat minor, E flat dominant 7, E flat minor, A. So there's a couple of grace chords here. So the easiest I'm playing, what I like best is playing B flat minor longer and then heading to the 2-5. You can also go to the E flat 7 immediately. This would be the most traditional way. So, why haven't you seen it? I'm all for you, body and soul. But of course, it lacks the resolution to B flat. So it's more likely to play. Why haven't you seen it? I'm all for you, body and soul. You see, the E flat here is kind of not really necessary. I'm all for you, body and soul. You can play it anyway or leave it, you know, it's just like it's up to you. And when playing with bass, it doesn't even really matter, you know. So part B is also special, and I want to say something about part B, because part B is really like, that's where the difference between the Django version and the real book version is very obvious, but still, it's more or less the same. Django is playing some very tricky stuff there. The real book version is, why can't you see it? It's hard to believe it that you turned away romance. So lots of chords. We go from D to E minor to F sharp minor. And let's stop here, because this is nothing more than a turnaround. So the E minor with A in the bass is kind of an A sus chord. So always when you have in a standard, a different example is, for example, My Funny Valentine. This is pretty typical. This Is your figure less than Greek? And is your mouth a little weak? Whenever you got something like that, or like in Body of Soul, I can't believe it, it's hard to conceive it. You can always play 1 and 5. I can't believe it, it's hard to conceive it, that you turned away romance. That's exactly what Django does here. Very old school with the third in the dominant chord. The more modern way would be like playing the D like a major chord and the A like kind of a sus chord, E minor 7 with A in the bass. Like, I can't believe it, it's hard to conceive it, that you turned away romance. That would be more modern. And so the original movement from the real book is the same thing. I can't believe it, it's hard to and he does conceive it, which is also nothing more than a grace chord actually. When you which is nothing more than a grace chord actually. So because we have this G minor 7 and C, and it's a substitution for actually F dominant 7, F sharp dominant 7 with the raised 9. You see, if you put C in the bass, you got the C7 chord. So the G minor is nothing more than a sus of the C. So it's this, and it's a substitute, C tritone substitute to F sharp. So it's all about this D, E, F sharp, E thing. So we got, I can't believe it, it's hard to conceive it. And then we're just, playing the progression till the end. That you turned away romance. Sometimes in the real book, or sometimes when you play with players, they're playing a dominant 7 chord here. But that's, clashing with the melody. Because the melody is a D. And Django's like doing like, I can't believe it, it's hard to conceive it, that you turned away romance, which is more or less the same actually. Even if you look at the rhythm changes, that would be like, why can't you see it, it's hard to believe it, why can't you see it, it's hard to believe it. Working with all the rhythm changes songs. Imagine like this is it, like, I got rhythm, but you could play, I got rhythm, I got music, I got rhythm, I got music. You could also play, I got rhythm, I got music. So all working, you see, this is my point here, more or less it's the same thing. So, and then the second part of the B part of part B is absolutely obviously easy. So you're starting with D minor 7, going to G, to C, typical, E flat diminished, and then the 2-5, back to A, which is like with C dominant 7, B dominant 7, B flat dominant 7, and then we got this one, back to the root. So the tune actually is not that difficult. If you find it hard as a guitar player, ask yourself if it might only be hard because of the key. Whenever you find a song is very hard, it's a final advice from me, transpose it to the key of C or G, and it will be very easy because then you're more used to the functions, especially if you do not have this jazz background when you're coming from rock music, singer-songwriter music, and you're like intermediate player. Sometimes you're very experienced in these singer-songwriter keys, and then it might be confusing to play a song in D flat. You think of all these, altered chords, and get lost, and if you transpose it to C first before you practice it, you will see that the actual harmonic structure is very easy. So that was it from my side from today. Hope you liked that lesson, and subscribe to my channel and check out all the videos that I made. Check out the info box below for my webpage and all news. This was Sven Jungbeck for you. Bye.